It's Thursday, the 16th of October, 2025. Good morning, and thanks for joining us on the Headline News Analysis this morning, whether it's via the website or terrestrial radio. The Headline News Analysis is a platform created for you to debate and analyze news stories, whether it's the one we brought to you at 7 or anyone you see in the national dailies you'd like to talk about. You can definitely bring it up on the program, and we get to analyze it with our in-house analyst, Uwerunonye. I'm Danielle Shitta-Bey. Now, we have a couple of rules on the analysis, and that includes the fact that we don't tolerate any logical fallacies or unverifiable news stories. So if you're bringing up news stories, let's make sure that it's from verifiable sources, and also to make sure that we have just 1 minute to take comments. So if you're calling or you're sending messages, make sure it's under 1 minute as well. Good morning to you, Nicholas. How are you doing this morning?
Good morning.
How's your trip down here?
Fine, thank you.
You look, yeah. Mm-hmm. All right, that's great to hear. The views to be expressed is not in any way the position of FlowFM 92.7 or the staff therein, but is expressed by our in-house analyst, Nicholas Uwerunonye. And also to remind you that we're streaming live on YouTube and on Facebook this morning at FlowFM 927. Let's pick it up from where we stopped yesterday. Yeah. Talking about the Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors renewing its demand for federal government to reinstate 5 doctors that were dismissed by the management of the Federal Teaching Hospital, and also their complaint about 1 to 9,000 patients rather than the approved 1 to 600 patients. I think we've talked about this a couple of weeks ago.
I think that the dismissal of those, I think it's labor related. It's industrial dispute related, dismissal. And normally when you have an altercation like that, it is always, excuse me a minute.
That's okay. All right.
Yeah, sorry.
Sorry, it's okay.
There is always a clause, when you are having an agreement that you don't victimize people who come asking for their right. When you have, when you're discussing that is industrial relations, when you are negotiating, So that is the point that the doctors are making, I believe. And I also think that at this point, where our health sector is in a dire strait, the dismissal of any doctor at this particular point must be done, except it's an act of gross misconduct. That's something unprofessional. That is what the licensing of a doctor. So sometimes this idea of wielding the stick at every slightest opportunity, like you have in the case of ASU, no work, no pay rule and things like that, shouldn't be at this particular point in time. Considering the economic situation and considering the fact that jobs are hard to come by. Then again, we have reiterated over time. We can never tire of insisting and stating that we need more doctors. And currently as it is, the doctors that we have in government hospitals are overworked. You have a case of 1 doctor to 900 patients, thereabout.
9,000.
9,000 patients. Can you imagine?
It's way above the recommended WHO's recommendation of 1 to 600.
Can you imagine?
That's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. It's really super ridiculous. And I think that it goes back to that same thing that I keep on saying, like a broken record, like I keep on repeating like a broken record, that it depends on government priority. Our priority is not on all those things that we measure as development. You see, when you talk of Norway, for instance, you talk of Norway, in terms of development, human capital development, Norway is far ahead of the United States of America. Even though they have salacious infrastructures in the United States of America, in terms of defense, they are up there, number 1. In terms of the size of their economy is massive. But when it comes to the real thing that matters, that is the quality of life of humans in those countries, Norway, Sweden, Denmark, they are far ahead. And why is that so? It's so because they put a lot, into the human capital development, that is health sector and education, and things and other, related, sectors. So now, to that extent, you see that the quality of lives over there will be far, far, far better than everywhere else in terms of life expectancy, in terms of mortality rate for kids, for women, and the rest of them. So that is, those are some of the things that I think at this level we should be concentrating on. No country poses a major threat to Nigeria, except for this insecurity that is more of an asymmetric kind of a thing. No country, so there is no need, the quality of things you put in, the kind of money you put in other things like, defense and things like that, might not have been necessary if we had developed the economic, this indices that we're talking about. Because if you had captured a lot of people in health and in education, you have people that are pulled into Boko Haram and all this insecurity in the first place. So one of the key ingredients is the personnel that you bring in, to monitor the hospitals that run the hospital, the operatives within the hospitals. And one of the key operatives is the doctor. So that is what is this is the layman way of just looking at what is actually happening there and why there is that much of a complaint.
Well, there's still a lot of conversation on the health sector situation in the health sector. The Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria has accused the federal government of showing favoritism and neglect in the management of the country's health sector, warning that continued marginalization of non-medical professionals could deepen disunity and inefficiency in the healthcare delivery. So now pharmacists play a critical role in patient care, and they're saying that they deserve better welfare and recognition. And he also raised concerns that there's been a rise in migration of pharmacists. About 8,200 of them have also migrated. See, doctors are migrating, pharmacists are migrating. What's the fate of the health sector in Nigeria?
If listeners and us in the studio have been paying attention to what I keep on saying, anytime we have issues of doctor, nurses, I talk generally about the health sector, about the hospital, that you have key operatives within them. One of them is a doctor, which is, of course, this like the engineer of the whole place. And then, of course, you have critical, technicians like the pharmacist. I'm just using it figuratively. These are people who understand drug medications and things like that. And they are vital to the running of an average hospital or the health sector. So, when we talk about health, we're talking about both the infrastructure and the personnel that are supposed to run it. They are thoroughly being marginalized. And that is what the pharmacists are saying. That you cannot look at one sector and neglect the other subsector. That is what they are saying. And of course, and when you look at it really, the pharmacists are about the closest to the medical doctors. One of the closest, because, at the clinical level, they do, at least at some level, 1 to 3 years, they run the same courses before they branch out to be, into pharmacology and the rest of them. So now, when you neglect that particular aspect of, that it's a key ingredient of medicating, personnel, patients in the hospital. So that is equally vital. So, but like I said, my advice to the federal government is that if they are going to take up these issues, they should take it holistically. When negotiating with the doctor, they should carry every other subsectors within that sector along. That's the only way. And now we are talking about migration again. Because you see, the health, you can never, give the way the global, the global scenario right now, shows that you need a lot of people who are within the health sector, the nurse, the pharmacist, the medical doctors. You see a lot of, more developed countries opening up their borders for these skilled immigrants. You understand? So we cannot afford to lose the little we have, especially considering the fact that was it not yesterday we were talking about this admission thing, racketeering and the rest of them. Most of the people you give, this admission to study pharmacy, medical doctors, nursing and the rest of them are people who are from a well-to-do families, people who can afford to pay japa money for their kids. So they get them trained here and they export them to other countries. So you can see the dilemma that we are in now, both the educational sector and even preparing people who are to come into that sector. And when you finish training them, we don't get the benefit of them servicing our sectors, our health sector. So it's a very serious problem that we have right now. And I think that, like I said, it must be a holistic approach, and I think the federal government should listen to them.
All right. Something that was mentioned also was the wage disparity between medical and non-medical professionals that is a major issue for them. Do you think there's a way to rectify this disparity?
Well, you see,
can they ever earn as much as the medical professionals as the doctors?
No, you see, that is a very complex terrain.
Okay.
It's about negotiation. Sometimes, I'll give you a very good example from the newsroom, for instance. Sometimes you bring in a reporter, you're on the same cadre. And they earn more. Well, when I took up a job in one newspaper thereabout, the fact that they brought me from a magazine, somebody with your investigative background, even though I was on the same cadre with a lot of reporters, I was earning far better than them. You understand? So sometimes it is about negotiation, and within that, you will concede to federal government that which is their priority within that sector. If it is more to the doctors, yes, you have to pay more. If it's to the pharmacists, then you have to pay more. You understand? So at that level, I don't want to take any side on that. It's more of a negotiating power between them and government. So because you cannot just wake up one day and say, okay, this is what you have for the doctor. The nurse will say they want to end the same thing. The quality of training that a medical doctor goes through is not the same thing that a nurse goes through. You understand? So you cannot ask them to end the same thing. And same with pharmacy. You understand? After pharmacology, after their training.
But that's the same thing you're talking about, the favoritism of it.
I don't think it's favoritism. I don't think it's favoritism. I think you see, this idea of how am I going to put it? There's a bit of envy there. You see, look, if you decide to go for pharmacology, you understand, what are you going in there for?
But sometimes it's that they apply to do medicine and surgery, and then, just like we were talking about yesterday, they don't give them the course that they want, and then they give them something similar.
Okay, good. And they accepted it.
What other choice do they have?
No. That is, it's on them. they, if they give them pharmacology and they accepted it, then go ahead and do pharmacology. You understand? You can't, after doing pharmacology, come and ask for the wage of a medical doctor. I don't think that's right. So this is my position about it. But, again, like I said, it depends on the industry. It depends on where the thing is tilting towards. If we have a health industry that is in dire need of medical doctors, you understand? And traditionally, over here in Nigeria, like other African countries, doctors have always been ranked high. So it's both traditional and it's more of a traditional thing. So it will be very difficult for government to come out of that conservative mood. You understand? So merely because you are asking for parity on what basis, if I may ask?
Competence.
Even the nurse is competent. The lab technician is competent. In fact, as a matter of fact, if the lab technicians are making an issue out of this, I think I would rather listen to them. Because there are so many things we don't know about the lab technicians. As a matter of fact, the medical doctor relies more on the lab technician because he's the one who's going to do interpret, the particles that are taken from the patient, know exactly what is wrong, and pass it on to the doctor to medicate, pass the medication to the patient,
So there's no way for the government to make it a more like a balance, like an inclusive.
No. I think this one we can't put it on the president, on the federal government this time around. I think more or less what we are seeing here is this kind of rivalry between ASU and ASUP.
Okay.
You understand? They are lecturers, we are lecturers too. So if we get this, we get that too. It's for me, I think that is not healthy.
All right, let's take this call. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning to you. What is your name and where are you calling from, please?
Hello, good morning.
Yes.
Good morning.
Good morning. We can hear you.
Okay, my name is Philip. I'm calling from Ilorin.
Okay, Philip from Ilorin. Please go ahead with your comment.
Yeah, I totally agree with Mr. Nicholas on the issue about the health workers, okay? There's nowhere in the world where a pharmacist and as much as a doctor in a clinical setting, okay? And this also goes to other healthcare workers. See that Nigeria is such a funny place where people want to earn as much as they don't deserve and they don't work for. You understand? This situation is a very complex situation because people have gone as far as increasing their number of years that they spend in university without commensurate value, just because they want to achieve the same 6 years that an MBBS or an MBBCH that the medical doctor spends in school. You understand? I work in the health sector and I see things firsthand. So it's just like he said, it is not on the government. Okay? If the health service in Nigeria is privatized, let's say a government private initiative, you will see people's real value come in play. For example, a doctor goes to work, after that does call duty and resumes work for the next day. There are health workers that come to work maybe twice or thrice in a week, saying that they do shift duty. Such people will now want to come and clamor to earn the same as a doctor. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. There's actually a collective bargaining, whatever, that is ongoing now to maintain a relativity issue. So what the Pharmaceutical Society of Nigerian president was doing, it was just being disingenuous. I'd rather stop here. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Philip.
You know, that's an experience that, you know, from the way he's trashed the issue, seen that he's a player within that sector. And you see, I'm not an expert within that sector. We have another call?
Yes, we
okay.
do. All right, let's take this call. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning to you. Could you please turn down the volume of your radio set or turn it off?
Okay.
All right, thank you very much. What is your name and where are you calling from?
This is Tai Ali, and I'm calling from Zongo.
Tai Ali from Zongo. Please go ahead with your comment.
Well, I want to appreciate the last caller and also your guest in the house for just saying it the way it is. It's just the truth. But I think sometimes government wants to create this tension within the unions to cause division. I don't see the role of a doctor is different from the role of a pharmacist. It's different from the role of the nurse. If you go to other countries where things are done the way they are, the wage of a doctor is quite different from that of a pharmacist and the nurse. They have different responsibilities. You know, it's just like saying the mason who builds a house and the woman who fetches water to mix the concrete. They both want to get the same salaries because they are involved in the construction of a house. You know, so more often than not, I think the problem is created by government wanting to bring division within the ranks of the workers so that there's no unity to have a common front against government. Thank you.
You see, that's a very, very good point, because if there is anything, government have always been good at this divide and rule. You know, look at the Konwa and Asu thing. For no reason, they just decided to license Konwa, you know, just to, you know, put, you know, just take some wind out of the sail of Asu's agitation. You understand? And of course, you have a lot of instances. In fact, you might even have, you know, agents of government prompting other unions within that same sector to, you know, raise their voice too, so that people can say, okay, okay, these people are here too. Which one are we going to listen to? You know, those kind of a thing. And I think that is a very good point too, you know.
And that's what the government is trying to do.
Maybe.
Probably.
Probably.
Okay.
You know.
All right. Well, still in the health sector situation, we have the Association of Retired Principals of Secondary Schools of Nigeria calling on the federal government to introduce free and subsidized healthcare services and establish old people's homes across the country to improve the welfare of retirees. They were complaining of facing severe financial hardship due to rising inflation and stagnant pensions, and was urging the federal government to review retirement benefits in line with the current economic realities and provide access to quality healthcare at little to no cost, and also creation of counseling centers and old people's homes to offer emotional and social support to senior citizens.
Well, you see, I don't know if we start talking about our treatment of senior citizens in Nigeria. We don't even have enough time to discuss it. You know, ironically, sometime last week I was at a function at the banquet hall, you know, on, you know, National Senior Citizens Day or something like that, you know, and there was this NGO that came in, you know, has been in the work, you know, in the forefront of.
Is that even widely known?
Yeah, of course, it's a well-known NGO. I don't have the name. I don't want to mention the name.
Talking about the event, the old people's homes.
No. We don't really have it. I know that, as a matter of fact, Kwara State already has a proposal. You know, somewhere around Amoy or so, and from that old camp, they have this welfare camp they have there. So they are trying to make it into a geriatric center where they can bring old people and they can be taken care of. But you see, a lot of factors are responsible for it. Traditionally, culturally,
Yeah.
The expectation is that children will take care of their parents. So more or less, it's not a government business. But in developed economies, they develop a structure to take care of senior citizens.
Yeah.
They have old people's home where they fund regularly. Then of course, when they are old enough, some old people go there and check in. You understand? It's all over all these developed countries. I was reading about downward of Norway yesterday, how they do their things there. So to bring them here, say for instance, you set up old people's home and somebody decide to take his parents there. The next thing is there will be a kind of, it's like a taboo that you can't even take care of your parents. So number one, we have a traditional problem there. You understand? So, but then again, you see, that call being made by, I think, retired principals, it's a very good one. You see, you can start from somewhere, and that is by making provisions for their health. Like the moment you are 70 or 60 years, you stop when you retiree, then you have a card. Like I think it was done in Anambra State under Peter Obi. They gave them, just like this national ID card, with which you go to any government hospital or approved private hospitals where you can get free health medication. You get treated. You understand? We can start from there. Again, there are other issues that are involved too, like taking care of them. Some of them, at that age, they are prone to a lot of illnesses. Prostate cancer and the rest of them. So are there
difficult to take care of.
Yeah. How it's very expensive to take care of. They have lab treatments and things like that. When you go there, you see a lot of you pay a lot, and on the children left by the children, it's always a heavy burden, So if we have a system that takes care of all those costs, it's one way of starting. Even though we cannot take on this issue of setting up old people's home
or counseling centers.
Or counseling centers. The counseling center is okay, because at that they are prone to depression. They are prone to a lot of mental related issues like dementia. Dementia sets in. So you have to put them through some therapy so that you'll be able to manage them. So these are some of the things that I think we should. It's a worthwhile call, really, if one must look at it.
So do you think it's something government would actually pay attention to at this point?
I think government is really looking at it, because if I just give the example of Kwara State government, for instance, then of course at the federal level too, there must be a kind of partnership on that. If we can have a SUBEB, you take care of free education for minors. We can have something like that. That kind of partnership. You have UBE and state universal basic education. We can have something to that effect. So and normally you see a vibrant society, a vibrant economy usually has this inverted economic pyramid, where you put the children at the forefront, at the top, then you put the woman, then the old senior citizen, then of course the young energetic labor force at the bottom. So it's the young energetic that holds everything up, because they have the youth, they have the strength, they have the energy to do that. That is how it's supposed to be run. But unfortunately, what we have in Nigeria is that we have people who are within that age that should have retired, have refused to retire. They are at the top. So that's why you have this kind of heat up that we are having in the Nigerian system.
All right. 0807-777-9927 is number to call or text to be a part of the conversation. Pick up any of the news stories we've talked about and make your comment on them. Let's move to another one real quick. The federal government has introduced the National Job Center Project, a countrywide network of employability hubs aimed at addressing Nigeria's growing unemployment crisis. Now, this initiative seeks to connect trained citizens with job opportunities while strengthening the nation's labor market infrastructure. What do you think about this?
It's a wonderful development. Because and again, I think it's an idea that started from Edo State. There is this under Godwin Obaseki. I think he was the first person that started something like Edo Jobs.
Edo Jobs.
Edo Jobs, yeah. Okay. Edo Jobs. It's a portal. The moment you live in Edo State, regardless of where you come from, you put your name there, your skill set and everything.
Is it still up?
I don't know. I don't know whether Pebulu has continued with that program. But you see, after the first year of that initiative, when we went for the second edition of Alagodaro, that is the economic summit that they used to do at that time, the figures that we got was at between when that thing was set up and when they did a 1-year anniversary, over 268,000 jobs had been created and people have been employed. So that was how effective that was. And, and how did Edo State manage it? What it did is that, look, if you are a laborer, for instance, say you are into masonry and things like that, every single contract that is given out by government, you give them a quota of jobs required, and they pass the job up to those people who are on that portal. So I think what federal government is trying to do is to copy that. I think they should get a copy of that Edu Jobs framework and improve on it. Is it because you cannot just start from the scratch? You have to look at where there are mistakes, you correct it, and before you know what's happening, you have a fantastic program that might bring in capture a lot of people that are jobless.
Actually need it.
That actually need the job. I think to a very large extent that should be able to solve the case of unemployment that we're having. Because the fact is, people are unemployed, they need jobs in the country.
Yeah, but don't you think that employers of labor hoard some of these jobs, or they do it internally, they employ internally, rather than wanting to put their job openings on sites and portals like this?
Well, you might be surprised, to see that, because when you go online, you see, even on Facebook, you see so person required and things like that.
Yes, but sometimes some of these opportunities are posted, but by the time you apply and then you go through the whole process, it ends up being that it's actually an internal thing where they just pick someone and then they just give them jobs. So someone that knows someone that knows someone. Than
that is quite true. That is quite true.
And that's very, very, very often. It happens a lot.
It happens a lot. But if federal, like I said, there was the Edo Jobs thing.
Yeah.
You understand?
How effective was it?
Oh, it was effective. I just gave you some figures.
Okay.
It was effective. So it's not about, in fact, some of the people that got jobs came and we were asking them questions. How did they? He said they were just sitting down, because you fill in your this thing, you put your number, your email address and things like that, and you were contacted.
Okay.
So because this is what happens. You see, why it will be easier to have that. It will be easier to have that because what government is trying to do is that if they have, say, like contract in particular location, you understand, and they already they get a number of people that is required to do, say, iron smelting, bending, or mason work, or road construction and things like that. They have people already within that vicinity. What you simply do is to tell those people to report to social area because your data has been sent to the employing company. So it doesn't have any choice. You understand? So if you want to take contract from federal government, then you must be able to, take in people that are within the country, that are citizens of that, that government. You must be ready to take them, and work with them. So I think it's a condition. I think it is incumbent on them to do that because people are talking of unemployment. They are talking of so many things and things like that. It will ease pressure on federal government, and of course they have a scorecard to show people. You understand? So I think it is more to the advantage, to make that job portal work. You understand?
All right then. All right. We have a comment on here from Dr. Mrs. Umar Libara from Oweri. Thank you for your constant commenting. We appreciate it. It's just talking about the defections, the deal of defections, and she's saying that are we heading to a one-party system? Democracy without opposition is dictatorship. Democracy thrives in decency, discipline, etiquette, rules and regulations, law and order, which are essential ingredients for building a representative government. We cannot afford to watch a democracy go down the drain. We must keep saying the truth. If we don't, evil continues in Nigeria. From the defection from PDP to APC, Peter Amba.
All right. Yeah, we said a lot about, but really, let's ask: is anything wrong with a one-party system when we have opposition parties that are utterly useless? That is another question we should ask ourselves. We keep on saying we don't want a one-party state. Then each time we have a party, you have extremely selfish individuals there. So I mean. Maybe that might just be the best,
right. Let's take this message and then we'll round off. Good morning, Danielle and Mr. Nicholas. This is Shire from Zongo on the health sector. I don't think the pharmacist or any or other health workers are asking for same pay. It's just asking for playing ground. for the same playing ground. There's no way other health workers can earn as much as doctors. You have allowances that qualifies your job. This makes house officers earn more than someone who has been working for 10 years. This is what everyone knows, but the government does not want this unity in the health sector. I will fault the government.
Okay.
All right. Everybody's entitled to their opinion.
Yeah, and that's
most
a fair
definitely.
comment, really, honestly.
Well, yeah. Thank you very much. We're not going to be able to take any more comment on the headline news analysis for today. We'll be back to your ears tomorrow, God willing, from 8 o'clock to 8:30. The views expressed is not in any way the position of FlowFM 92.7 or the staff therein, but is expressed by our in-house analyst, Nicholas Uwerunonye. Thank you so much, Mr. Nicholas. We appreciate it. We'll be back to your ears tomorrow.
Yeah.
The day.
Afternoon on FlowFM is where the culture lives. Music, entertainment, and all the gist that you need.
And if it's trending, you already know we're talking about it.
Stay locked in, Ilorin. It's FlowFM, baby.
The night's young, the vibes are right, and we are flowing past midnight. You ready to chill? Let's go.
Listen anytime, anywhere. Stream us live, call us, send us a WhatsApp message. We're just a tap away. Flow FM 92.7. My music, my radio.